Hello everyone, my name is Sumit and I welcome all of you to BISP self-learning video series. In today's tutorial, we'll be going to work on a very important function in Qlikview that is called aggregation functions or AGGR function. So let's understand what is AGGR function and then we'll see a scenario, and based on that scenario we'll apply an AGGR function in a Qlikview scripting. So what is AGGR function? AGGR is a very powerful function and it lets us perform aggregations over a set of dimensions. It creates a kind of a temporary tables of results from which you can select and perform more aggregations. So by using AGGR function, a temporary table will be created after the calculations, after the based on the results we get from the AGGR function. It is the results stored in a temporary table, and then we can pull the data from the temporary table and prepare charts or reports and dashboard based on that data from that temporary table. This AGGR function can be used both with expressions and dimensions. The result of AGGR can be used in other aggregated function as well. Means once we have applied an AGGR function on a dimension or in an expression, the output or the result which we got from that uh, expression, we can use that expression or the result we can use to get used in the another aggregated function as well. And it is a similar to group by clause in SQL. Like in SQL we have a group by clause, so AGGR function is similar to that. So let's take a scenario, and the scenario here is, I'll just try to explain you by a simple example. Let's suppose we have got a data table. This data table has got two columns. One field is customer, another field is value, and you can see there are 5 records, 2 records from A, 2 records from B, 1 record from C, and my requirement is that we would like to get the maximum value by customer. So if we try to do it, so we have a maximum value by customer. So the maximum value by A is 30, maximum by value by B is 15, and the maximum value by C is 40. And if we want to calculate the minimum out of those, so let's say first of all we get the maximum value. So maximum value based on the customer is 30, then 15, then 40. And if we want to get the minimum value out of this, the result, the minimum value is 15. So what we have done, we will be going to do this by using aggregation function, and by using aggregation function, first of all we'll get the maximum value and stored in a table, and then we'll run another aggregation function on that temporary table and we'll get the we'll pull out the minimum value. So our dimension is a customer. We are using on customer dimension, and the expression is the maximum value. Expression here is the maximum value. So as you can see here, I have write down the aggregation function is AGGR max value on customer dimension. So what it will do, it will pull it will get the data based on the customer dimension and the maximum value. So it will find out the maximum value based on the customer. So customer A maximum value is 30, customer B maximum value is 15, customer C maximum value is 40. And later on, if you want to get the minimum, so on the same aggregation function we use another aggregation function, or the result which we get from the aggregated function, we apply that aggregated function result to get the minimum value out of that. So we get the minimum. So minimum is the 15. So like this we can we can achieve our result or output. So this is a very basic example. Let's see a real-time example. And in real-time example, in order to display the real-time example, I have already prepared a dashboard. That's my dashboard, and in that dashboard I'm working on some advanced expressions, and I would like to display, we have got the data here, and if I'll show the data model, first of all let me show the data model to you. That's the data model. We have got a main data, and that's the data model which I'm using for my for this Qlikview document. So I'm using this data model for Qlikview document here. And in this data model, we have got the carrier name. In main data we have got carrier name, and based on this carrier name, my requirement is this, that I would like to know that how many interstate routes each carrier covers. So we have got a carrier name dimension, and based on that carrier name dimension, I would like to display the interstate routes covered by each carrier name. So we can simply create a chart to the based on this. So as you can see here, we have carrier name, and it's covering 1145 routes, interstate routes. So let's see how to achieve this kind of table, this kind of uh, chart in Qlikview. So for this, I right click on the sheet object and click on chart, and for this I'm going to use a straight table, and for the heading I use here heading interstate routes by carrier, and click on next. And the dimension, I choose the dimension as a carrier name. I select the dimension, carrier name as a dimension, click on next. And the requirement is the how many interstate routes each carrier covers. So each carrier, so it will be a distinct carrier, so we have to get the distinct carrier. So I write here count function distinct, and count distinct from two state code, from two state code, and okay. And I'll change it. I'll label. I give assign a label to this interstate routes, and apply OK. So you can see we have got the interstate routes by each airline, and let's do the more customizations. I get to the number and integer. This will be the pattern, and OK. So I have got this the interstate routes according to the carrier name. So each carrier name, we have got this much of interstate routes, 148, 1485, 1470. So they are operating in these interstate routes. But let's say this is a simple expression. Then if we would like to use the aggregation function on the same chart, so that's my requirement. So this is our real requirement. So our requirement is we could display a straight table with the number of interstate route as the dimension. So now I would like the interstate routes which we have display here. This is an expression and this is a dimension. Now I would like to convert this expression into a dimension. And as you know that in dimension we can add only those fields which are available in our data model. So this interstate routes is a calculated expression. So we don't have this field available in our data model. We don't have any interstate route field available in our data model. So as I have already clearly mentioned here that we don't have number of interstate route fields in our data model, and nor can we add it as a calculated field in the script, because the calculation varies with each user selections. So we cannot specify a query in the script as well. So what we need to do is we need to add this. We need to convert the expression into a dimension. So let's see how to get the interstate route as a dimension when we do not have when we don't have the field available in our data model. So in order to do that, we need to use the aggregation function. So aggregation function will be help into that. So I'll do one thing. I'll just right click on it and convert it, and I'll get to dimension. So I edit this, and instead of this carrier name, I will be going to use the aggregation function. So how to use aggregation function? I write aggr aggregation function, and count distinct from two state code and as respective to carrier name, and OK, apply, and OK. So and also we can assign a label interstate routes, and the expression will be OK. Expression will be same. Expression is OK. And instead of this from two state code, this will be as respective to carrier name, distinct carrier name. So this will be distinct carrier name, and OK. And instead of its distinct carrier name, I'll give here hash of carriers. apply and OK. So you can see we have got interstate routes and hash of carrier. So these are so there are total 48 carriers who are operating in two interstate routes. There are 31 carriers who are operating in one interstate route. There are 21 carriers who are operating four different interstate routes. So like this we can use aggregation function. So basically if we see the expression here, so this expression we have added as a calculated dimension, and what it will do when we calculate it, when we run this expression, it will calculate the distinct from to state code based on the carrier name, and it will count the total number of records, and it will be stored in a temporary table, and that temporary table will be marked as an interstate route here. So like this we can use, or we can generate new dimension by using aggregation function. So this is aggregation function in Qlikview. That's all in this video. If you have any queries, you can visit our website www.bisptrainings.com, or you can subscribe our YouTube channel for more videos on Qlikview. Till then, have a nice day ahead. Goodbye.